All right, so one of the things that happens with all this endurance training that I've been doing is that it kind of locks you in a pattern, right? Just arms going this way, legs going the same way, running, hiking, it's all the same. It kind of locks you in the same movement pattern, and you do it over and over and over again. And it's great, right? It's great for you, blah, blah, all that good stuff. We already know all that. The thing is, though, that your body's meant to function in a wider variety of ways and movements in which, other than just the traditional endurance kind of movement pattern like this. So one of the things that I like to do for my hips to kind of break out of that pattern and explore new movements and just make sure that I'm mobile and strong and flexible in all the movement and all the range of motion that I want and that I need for my daily life, first of all, and then for the lifestyle that I like to live, which is, again, the endurance training and the climbing and the alpine climbing and all that stuff. And this past weekend, I found myself in a couple of situations, in some tight spots where if I didn't have the proper hip mobility, I'm not sure. I mean, I still would have done it, right? But maybe not as effectively, maybe not felt as safe, maybe not felt as comfortable out there as I did this weekend. I was able to climb and to traverse some of these areas with a significant challenge presented for my shoulders, for my hips and all that. So I want to show you all one of the things that I do to break out of that pattern. First off, here in this sort of butterfly position, grab my ankles here, and I'm going to apply pressure with my elbows into my knees here. So I'm going to push my legs out, but I'm actively going to close them in here and just create an isometric contraction there. And I'm just going to hold and squeeze. Should feel the core activating, should feel the adductors working. And I hold it for 30 seconds, maybe you can do up to a minute. And think about, as the time goes on, like every 5 or 10 seconds or so, ramp up the level of intensity and how much tension you're creating there within your body. You should get to a point where you're like shaking a little bit. So you do that for that amount of time, about a minute or so. And then now you go out here, you create a little cradle here for your knees, and you do the same. Now I'm pushing down with my legs, and I'm pushing in with my arms here. So I'm creating that contraction there. You can create quite a bit of tension here, create fist in your hands, tighten your core, everything's working together here. And then this is gonna fire up your abductors here on the outside, your glutes, your quads. It's really good to start getting some good blood flow into those areas and tissues. Good, so now after a minute of that, you come down into this 90-90 position. Let me scoot back a little bit. So 90-90 position here like this. At first, you can use your hands to transition side to side. So this leg that's behind me here is gonna open up. Well, first of all, I don't wanna be sitting down here like this. Try to be up as tall as possible. This back leg here is gonna lead the way, open up. Other leg is following. Boom, there's one. Now, this other back leg now is gonna lead the way this way. Transition there, back and forth. So here I'm exploring internal rotation, external rotation of the hips. You got a ball and socket joint here, so we gotta go in there and move it around. Okay, after a few of those, you're gonna notice it starts to get a little bit easier, a little bit more fluid. So then you can take your hands off of the ground. I recommend making 2 fists right here. Create a lot of tension, tap into that core, and then go from there. You might start to get a little bit of cramping here on the hips. It's all good. It's not gonna kill you. You can push through it, breathe through it. Just transition there. We're gonna add one more step now. This is a little bit more advanced. This might create a lot more cramping here on the hip, but we're gonna go into what's called a controlled articular rotation, or CAR, C-A-R for short. So from this position, back leg, I'm going to create a lot of tension here. I'm gonna lift off the back leg, externally rotate. I'm trying to move only my hip joint, nothing else. Bringing it in, internal rotation now. Can't let it touch the ground. Now I'm gonna lead that way now. Hold your leg. This is not easy. Create a lot of tension, lift up, It hits a little bit harder for me. Down, transition again. Second one, third one, and so on. Should be a little bit easier to do once you get the movement down. There we go. And back and forth. So, give those a try. Start with the real basic transitions first. Keep your hands on the ground. Do those isometric holds here and here. And then little by little, start playing around with this position. I guarantee you it can do wonders for your hips. Not only for the sport that you play, or for lifting, or any of those things, activities that you do, but just overall quality of life. You can find more options of movement available to you in your daily life. So the more options that you have, the stronger you can be, the better human you can be as far as movement is concerned. So give them a shot, reach out to me if you have any questions, and thanks for watching this. Peace.